Over the weekend, there were hundreds of individuals in Michigan, most of them not gun owners already, but they were getting some training over the weekend. As a matter of fact, we talked with Rick Ector last week. This is, I think, the 5th or 6th year that Rick's been doing this, along with the help of other firearms instructors. And the goal was to get 900 individuals out there. Unfortunately, Mother Nature decided to dump some monsoon-level rains in Michigan, which I think slightly lowered the turnout, but still, according to Rick, it was a record-setting weekend in terms of the number of women out there getting trained. Rick joins us on the program right now. Rick, good Monday to you, sir.
Hey, man. Happy Monday to you as well. How are you doing?
I am great. Have you recovered from yesterday?
Man, I'm still, tired and exhausted, but it's a good tired and exhausted, man. A job well done, and you lost a lot of sleep and you're tired and you work all day, and then you have a big giant meal with your fellow associates who are helping you put on this event, man. I'm still tired, but it's a good tired.
I'm glad to hear that. So I mentioned a record setting. You had over 800 women out there yesterday, Rick. That's amazing.
Yeah, we had 814. I wanted 900, and I'm a little bummed out by that. Mother Nature, had a little something to do with that. And everyone's like, "Hey, man, that's great, that's great, that's great." And I'm thinking in my head, it's like, what? I wanted 900. But onward we go, man.
Exactly. Well, listen, and every year this has been getting bigger. It's been getting more attention. You had a lot of attention and positive attention in the Detroit press this time around. That was really amazing, Rick. I mean, you had reporters out there on the firing line at the range, firing a gun, I think for the first time in some cases, as they were promoting this event. And they weren't promoting this with, a snide remark or snark. There was, I think, legitimate interest and genuine excitement that this was taking place that we saw from local media there.
Yeah, it was very positive, man. And I think that the central theme was key. And we're talking about empowering women to protect women. And I think maybe that is the greater good. And that supersedes what generally we feel at times is an anti-gun bias, man. But empowering women and enabling them to protect themselves and their babies. Unfortunately, there's been some, unfortunate incidents in the Metro Detroit area where we've had a lot of women, have been murdered, man. And that's been making a lot of news here locally in Detroit. And, hopefully, events such as the one that I promote that's talking about empowering women and explaining to them the role that firearms play in the role of personal protection, that they'll take on a greater interest in doing that, man. Because, we had a woman whose body was literally found in a trash can, like the story from 8 years ago, which was the genesis of me coming up with this idea of training women for free. So I'm all for empowering women to give them the tools and the means and the ability to protect themselves.
Absolutely. Talking again with Rick Ector, firearms instructor, Detroit CCW. And, one of the women who's a volunteer instructor shared her story with local media about how she went from being the victim of a crime, coming home to find that her house had been broken into, and she realized, the only thing I have there is a baseball bat. If I had been home, how would I have protected myself? And from that moment of being the victim of a crime to now being a firearms instructor. I mean, she went from not owning a gun to being a gun owner to now being one of those volunteer instructors this past weekend. You talk again about that empowerment. And there it is, I think, a perfect example of that on display.
Yeah, I mean, it's the perfect story to illustrate what we're talking about. A lot of times, unfortunately, women are victims of violent crime, and that's a hint to them that they need to take on a more active role in their personal protection. Luckily for her, she was able to, still be here and then take a look and evaluate, her views about guns and their roles in protecting herself and the babies and people in her family and the people that she loves. And hopefully when you look in the mirror, you say, well, you know what, I'm willing to do this, if not only just for me, but for my children, man. And I definitely applaud those women who came out, man. 814 women that came out for a free firearms and shooting lesson. It was totally awesome. We've had a number of young folk who were there. We had some seniors who came out, man. It was just a great cross section of women, man, and it was just a totally awe-inspiring event. And I'll keep harping on it again, man. I didn't get my 900, but for now, I'll settle for 814.
I think we can do 914 next year, Rick. And listen, thank you for everything you're doing there, and be sure to thank those volunteers for us as well. It really is just a truly inspiring event. I hope that other firearms instructors around the country can get inspired as well, and maybe we'll have some similar events taking place across the nation. But Rick Ector, thank you as always, sir. It's great talking with you today.
Man, it's always a pleasure talking with you, Cam, man. And thanks for having me on and be able to share what we did yesterday. I was about to say this past weekend. What we actually did yesterday.
Hey, man, congratulations again. This really is exciting. I know you didn't get the 900, but 814, brand new record. That is pretty darn good.